Hey guys, it's Dan O'Donnell with HouseBopper, and I want to do a video about foreclosures. And there's a lot of confusion around the terminology about foreclosures lately, so I want to try to clear that up. Basically, here's the deal. To boil it all down, as far as foreclosures go, when you're a buyer, there's three types of foreclosures. There's the pre-foreclosure, which means the seller still owns it, and so you're negotiating with that seller. There's the actual auction sale, which in my area you need to show up with all cash. It's either cash or a cashier's check that day. Some places you have a certain amount of time to get your funds and everything, but anyway, so you've got pre-foreclosure, the auction, at the courthouse steps, and then you've got what we call REO, or bank owned. That's when the bank has taken the property back and now they're selling it. So a lot of people have been talking a lot about short sales lately, and if you don't know what those are, that's a type of pre-foreclosure. So it's in that first stage, and here's the deal. Basically with the short sale, the seller is trying to sell the property, but there is not enough equity there to pay the bank back all of what they're owed. So they might have a mortgage for $100,000 and they're trying to sell the house for say $90,000, and then after closing costs and things they're going to be say $15,000 short. So what you have to do in that case is negotiate with the lender to see if they're okay with that. So from a buyer's perspective on a short sale, first you've got to get the seller to accept your offer, and then you have to wait and see if the bank's going to accept your offer, which can easily take a month or 2 months. If the person negotiating the short sale, which is sometimes the realtor or the seller, if they don't know what they're doing, it can take 6 months and it can never work at all. But if you have somebody who's really good, it's probably going to take a month or two to get the answer back from the bank on whether or not your offer has even been accepted. So again, you've got to get the seller to accept it, then you've got to get the lender to accept it because they're taking less than what they're owed. Okay, so moving on to the next stage, at the auction sale. It's a really technical place to try to be a buyer. I wouldn't recommend it unless you have a lot of real estate experience. And again, you're generally going to need all cash either the day of closing or shortly after. So you don't have as much time to inspect the property. In my area, there's no guarantee at all that you're even going to get inside the property before you own it. So, I mean, it's literally the kind of thing where the investor goes over there and they try the door. If it's open, they go in. If it's not, maybe they look through the windows, and then they cross their fingers and hope that the property's in decent condition. Okay, so that one's risky. Don't try it if you don't have a lot of real estate experience. Third is my favorite, and this is the one I recommend to most buyers, which is bank owned. The banks will call it REO, which stands for real estate owned. This is when the bank owns the property, the person who lived there, the seller, you don't have to deal with them at all anymore. You're just dealing with the bank. And the bank is all business. They're not going to be emotional about it. They've got a price that they want. If they see that that price is too high and they haven't got any offers within a reasonable amount of time, they'll lower their price, and they'll generally keep lowering it until it sells. So don't be afraid to make an offer on a bank-owned property. And I can tell you, the banks, the stronger you look, the more likely they are to take your offer. If you have a cash offer, the banks love that. If you don't, they're generally going to require a pre-approval letter, and they're going to want to see that you've already looked into financing, that you're able to purchase. So I hope that clears up the three different kinds of foreclosures. Again, pre-foreclosure, which includes short sales, cash at the bank auction, on the courthouse steps, and then the third is REO, or bank-owned properties. If you have any more questions, feel free to get in touch at housebopper.com, or you can email me. It's housemandan@gmail.com, and I'll help you out however I can. I'm happy to set you up with an agent in your area that can help you out with specific properties and all of those kind of things. So also my cell phone is 360-220-7157. Thanks a lot.